Right away. Eat first.
Right with your hands.
Oh, wow, that's neat, isn't it? Isn't that something? Hi, Mary Lou.
Hi, how are you, Dan? Just got to embarrass him a little.
Good evening. Would you please rise for the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter Schools Class of 1997? Class of 1997. We're going to have a few words of welcome from our Board of Trustees, President Don Trump.
Thank you. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this ceremony and to offer congratulations to this year's 8th grade class.
I want to aim this to you, so I'm going to keep turning to them and hope, because I wrote this really for them, and hope that this still catches my voice. A few weeks ago, the charter school sent home flyers offering parents an evening program called Life 101 Transitions, and all of you. And I'll call up the first one, Jane Ornberger. An important question to be answered tonight is, why are we here? All of us students here have achieved something truly great, not simply completing 8th grade, but surviving it. 8th grade in all of middle school really is a challenge, but we've made it through. 8th grade, though, is mostly about choices that will determine the rest of our lives. We've all made the right choices, and that's shown by us being here today. But we haven't made it here ourselves. We've made it here with the help of our family, who have offered constant love, care, and support, and our teachers, who have not only helped us academically, but have been there for us to listen to our problems and to help us through all of our
out with a really enjoyable trip to the sea camps. Although we were all extremely tired, we still had a lot of fun. The year progressed, and I learned a lot of new material through excellent teaching. Every class seemed to hold my interest. We read a lot of good books, although I didn't really understand Watership Down. Towards the end of the year, we took a trip on the Ernestina, which was fabulous. Summer came and went, soon it was time to buy school supplies again. The 8th grade year started off with a very interesting visit from John Dobson and the making of our telescopes. I attended many of Mr. Dobson's seminars and attempted to comprehend all the material he was talking about, but most of this was way over my head. The second year didn't seem to start over like it always had. It seemed more like a sequel to the previous year. Again, every class seemed to hold my interest. Winter came, and along with it came the first basketball game. It was then that our school had become official. We were competing in sports, mock trial, and other strong points of our students. When basketball season was over, baseball and softball teams were formed. We were again competing with other schools. Then, as the year started to come to a close, I realized how much fun I've had and how much I've learned. Not just in school, but in life. I believe that everybody that has attended a school has learned what it's like to be a minority and how you can do just about anything if you set your mind to it. Thanks.
Finally, our third student, Erica Wells. Please welcome her. Hi. Wow. I really can't believe that we all made it through 8th grade, especially me, and then we're all actually here. It seems like so short of a time. Ever since I came here, I felt like I've been accepted and loved by all my teachers and friends. And if you can believe it, this is the 6th school that I've ever been to, and the only one where I've ever felt that I really belonged. In this short year, I've met a lot of great teachers, some awesome friends, and a bunch of the most talented kids that I've ever met. It seemed like last week that I walked into Miss Kaufman's homeroom, confused and among strangers. There's no windows, I thought. But the truth is, my teachers made my windows. They worked hard to see that their knowledge reached each and every one of us. And I'm sorry to say that I didn't always appreciate them. I came here knowing exactly 3 people, and now I'm leaving with more than 50 new friends that I value more than anything in the world. I know that for some of us, this was our first year here, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us when I say that it was definitely one to remember. What can I do but say thank you to my teachers for taking the time to acknowledge my presence and encourage me to reach for the stars, and to my friends for showing me what friendship can really be. And if I haven't learned anything this year, I've learned one thing: that kindness comes first. We don't need to wear the same clothes or be with a cool crowd to be accepted by one another. We're equals, and we treat each other equally. We've had some great times. The sea camps, the White Mountains, the semi-formal, and we can always look back and remember them. The question we've been trying to answer all year is, who am I? And well, maybe we don't know who we are, but whoever we turn out to be, or whoever we end up, wherever we end up, we'll always be together. Our friendship is too good to ever end. Thank you. Pretty impressive, right? Wonderful. Thank you all. They're wonderful speeches. We're now going to hear from 2 of our students of the class of 1997 who are going to sing Think of Me, Taylor Alstrom and Julia Terrio. And Allison Conan is going to accompany them on the piano. now have the presentation of the class gifts. And to do this, Vicki Provost, a parent, is going to take care of this. Help us out.
And don't worry, I'm not going to sing. As Pat said, my name is Vicki Provost, and my son John Lynch is graduating today. And the graduation committee has asked me to say a few words on behalf of the parents of the Cape Cod Lighthouse Charter School 8th grade students. I would like to begin by reading a quote which I think summarizes how we all feel about the school. Teamwork is the merging of the skills and the talents of a group of people in Sandy Stewart.
Well, basically, what we want to say is that Mrs. Lay and Mrs. Stewart basically spend a lot of their time at our school working and answering phones and getting down on their knees and figuring out how much pizza each classroom gets every Monday. And basically, they devote a lot of their time and energy to the school, and we just want to say thank you for everything they've done. Thank you.
Casey and Colleen. Next, I'd like to present to you Kim Copley and Ben Cadell, who would like to make a presentation to Joan Barnett. Come up, please, so everyone can see you.
Wait a second, I got a speech.
Last year, as I remember it was tough. There were lots of fights between friends. The school year academically was also tough. There were lots of projects, lots of assignments, but we all made it through it. Miss Barnett was our humanities teacher. As I remember, she was always caring and thoughtful. I remember she could help you with any personal problems you had, any homework you didn't understand, anything else. You know, she could help you with anything. She was just a really great teacher. Thank you.
And the students just presented Joan with a book of Cape Cod stories. Next, I'd like to present to you Mark Steins and Dave Jones, who would like to present to Katie Clancy and her baby. However, this is probably not the most convenient time. Should we wait? We're doing a little shift here. I could do a dance. Sorry. Math is a tough... All right, here we go again. Math is a really tough
tough thing to understand. The most important year, probably, of middle school math is the year of 7th grade, or in different schools, 7th and 8th. It's called the transition between arithmetic and algebra. They're two completely different ways of thinking. If you don't have a good base in arithmetic and transition, then you won't do very good in algebra. Trust me. All right. All right. Math is sort of like a building block subject. If you don't have a good base, then the next block on top of it won't work. Okay? It's all sort of based on the thing you learned the week before. If you don't have a good teacher, like Mrs. Clancy, then you're gonna have a tough time in algebra. So without a good transition, you're not gonna be very good, and you're not gonna be very successful.
For those of you that don't know Mrs. Clancy, she's always had a smile on her face and candy in the class jar on her desk. Her classes were always interesting, never a dull moment. She never ceased to amaze us with her acting and jokes, which she seemed to pull out of her pocket at a moment's notice. When I did my homework, I always looked forward to her class. We would like to present you with this book for your son.
And appropriately, the students presented Katie with a family album, which is a journal that she can write to her children. Next, I would like to present to you Carmen Wegman and Brett Blank, who would like to present something to Susan Koppelman.
Mrs. Kaufman is a very understanding person. She was a friend and a teacher. She would take time and help us when we needed it. Also, she would talk to us when we needed to talk to someone. She had a lot of good advice and she never gave up on us. I really appreciated having her as a teacher. Next year's 8th graders are going to miss out on having her as a teacher. Her methods helped a lot of us. Thank you so much, and we're all going to miss you.
She put in lots of extra time and stayed after school almost every day to help us. She also helped with organizing and also semi-formal things, helping start the bake sales, raise money for our dance.
And Carmen and Brett just presented Susan with a picture book on American gardens, which is one of her favorite hobbies. Next, I would like to present to you Matt Spencer and Catherine Hurd, who would like to present to Paul Niles.
Alright, I would just like to thank Mr. Niles on behalf of myself and the rest of the 8th grade class for 2 years of great science. I can remember the first time that I saw Mr. Niles. He was jumping on and off the stage at the Museum of Natural History. And at that time, I knew it was going to be an interesting 2 years of science. He has instilled his enthusiasm for science on all of us. But I want to know why he made us read Cape Cod Meows, a geological story. Well, anyways, we present to you a book that you will definitely find more enjoyable summer reading material. Thank you for 2 great years of science.
And he leaves off the stage. And yeah, that book was really nasty for those us parents who also tried to read the book. Next, I would like to present to you Greg Ballum and Jason Eldridge, who would like to say a few words to John Stewart.
Alright, Mr. Stewart is one of the best teachers that I've ever had, and I think there's a lot of people here that'll agree with me. Even though he has bad handwriting and can't draw, we still know what he's doing because he makes it so clear to us with words. He has a really good sense of humor, and that's one thing that we'll remember him by. The other thing that we'll remember him by is the great stories of back in the old days, which are pretty far back. If I had to have him as a teacher again, I would be more than happy to. The reason why is because we learn a lot while we're having a lot of fun, all at the same time. And that's why most of us want to stay back this year. Alright, we're presenting him with the book Hemingway, the 1930s.
And last but certainly not least, I would like to present my son John Lynch and Julie Richmond. They would like to say a few words to Pat Anthony.
For my speech, I heard about Mrs. Anthony. This is a very important speech because she's so important to our school. Those of us who were here last year know that CCLCS was great then too. But this year, Mr. Tulone didn't want to be the director anymore. So instead, Mrs. Anthony, it's not easy being the director of a charter school. But Mrs. Anthony has worked hard for our school. She's improved every aspect that she can. We increased fundraisers such as bake sales, car washes, and lip syncs. She gave up every Wednesday lunch to meet with student council and make sure we all stayed organized. Our programs and curriculum took off with our steady base. And she helped us with create sports such as basketball, softball, and baseball. She even taught a seminar for American Sign Language, which those of us who took still use it sometimes. She makes sure that those who do well are rewarded, and of course makes sure that those who go against the school limits are punished. I'm not sure that everyone in this room would agree that the school has been much better since last year, but I think it has improved. We want to thank you, Mrs. Anthony, for this year, our last year, such a good year. I hope that we left as positive a mark on you as you left on us, and good luck in your future no matter what you're doing. Directing a charter school or sailing in the bay, or both, we all wish you the best of luck.
I'd just like to say, I really appreciated it, and I think the sports teams appreciated it when she came to just about every game for both basketball and baseball. You know, if there was a game, she'd get there somehow, all the way.
And suddenly, I looked at Erica Wells' shirt, which was blue, and noticed there were a lot of drops on it, and thought, I better take the kids in. And just as I blew the whistle and told the kids to come in, a crack of lightning came right over our heads, and a big boom of thunder so close that it actually gave me a headache. The kids froze and were panicked on the field, and then started to run towards me like kids in an earthquake or something. We got in the van and I turned around and I was shaking. My heart was pounding. It was the longest walk to the van I've ever had. And the kids were so scared. And I just said, okay, we don't have to go back into the field. It's okay. And Nathaniel Thomas said, I have $6.50. I'll give it to everybody in this van. If we go to the Chocolate Sparrow, I'll share all my money. So, for that act of kindness, I'd like to present this book about kindness and kind gestures to Nathaniel. All right, the last one is, one day I was walking down the hallway going towards the faculty room, and there was a student in the faculty room, Tim Wegman, who was a 7th grader, and he was sitting in the room by himself, not having such a good day. But I happened to see his sister, Carmen, open the door a crack and stick her finger in and wave like this. And it just sent my heart soaring. And I said, Carmen, what are you doing? And she said, that's my brother in there. She threw the door open, went in, and brought him a little yogurt with granola and fruit on the top, and some other presents. And if that wasn't enough, she bent over, hugged her brother, and kissed him on the head. So I thought that was the nicest thing. I know, it's the sweetest thing. So for that act of kindness, oh, there's Tim up there, right? The recipient of the kindness. So for that sweet act of kindness and sisterly love, which is, it's wonderful to have siblings love each other, I'd like to present Carmen with To Kill a Mockingbird, which is the story of brother and sisterly love.
We will have Marion Lane come up next, please. And as he comes up, I just want to tell you that in the course of our first year at the charter school, we discovered an interesting phenomenon, which is that a magnetic field appears to exist, which is centered, we have discovered, mainly in the office. And we discovered this because at 3:01 every afternoon, each kid in the school would gravitate to the office and have an overwhelming desire to have to phone home. Now, to fight this and to get around this phenomenon this year, what we did was, over the summer, put additional telephones throughout the school, and we put a half door up at the office to try and stop some of the traffic into the office. But as anybody who has seen Forbidden Planet or any other sci-fi movie knows,
First of all, I'd like to say I get to give away 4 books tonight, and I wish it were one to every single one of you guys. I will really miss you. Where to start? First day of school, we all came in together for our very first day. And over in the left-hand corner by the computer table, there was a group of people looking very,
get them away from chess games and other rooms. And I knew that these people had really found their niche. And so did I. One of those people has been a quiet, steady, gentle, dignified gentleman over the past few years that always has a nod and a smile and hello for me. And I would like to say a special goodbye to Eric Carlson. Came in last year and I was psyched. I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait to get into this school. I heard, the ideas behind it were so fabulous. I just wanted to jump right in, and so I did. And I got this homeroom of. You could hear us in Harwich. I mean, we were not quiet, but we had a really good time. And when we did this book thing, all the teachers were asked to put their name next to a person that they wanted. I'll take this one. And I had like 17 kids. I went, well, that's what I love that. So they cut me down to 4, which is okay. But I could have easily given it to not just my homeroom, all you guys, even the new guys. I got something to say about every one of you. This first person was definitely my pet. Where is he? And they all know who I'm talking about. And I made no bones about it. This person always went and fetched me my coffee. She went and did this for me, did that for me. Got almost all A's. But she's also someone that you have to look at twice. You have to give this kid a little more time than you might. And you will see such a deep person, such a person with... Just like the rest of this whole class had a character. The book that I gave to Liam is To Kill a Mockingbird. When I was in high school, I occasionally had a homework problem. And Liam occasionally has a homework problem. And the only book I read cover to cover, when it was due, on time, all that stuff, and got aces on all the tests, was To Kill a Mockingbird. And hopefully Liam will see the depth that I saw in that book and appreciate as much as I did. Okay. Alright, this one was definitely arm wrestling. There were a couple names next to this one, but I got her. This person, I like... They all have big dreams, they all have aspirations, and they all think very matter-of-factly about the whole thing, like, well, of course I'm going to do whatever it is, fly to the moon. And I have no doubts in my mind. They all will achieve these things. This particular person is going to attend Harvard, and she is going to become a physician. And I can't wait to see her do that. This is a person who came in one way and is leaving another way. She came in kind of shy and, from a social situation that wasn't really comfortable, and, she would share those things with me, and I was really felt good about the way that they trusted me, and this particular person would really trust me with sometimes too much, in fact, sometimes more than I really wanted to know, but I was glad that she felt that comfortable with me. She has come around to be such a beautiful person. Not that she wasn't, but I've seen this in her. She is so generous, so caring, and so thoughtful. Beyond compare. And she's another person that you have to give 2 more minutes than you would give your average kid. And then in those 2 minutes, you will see the depth and beauty in Ashley Medeiros. And what I'm giving her... Grey's Anatomy. Use it well, and follow me
Gravity again. So there we stood, Carl Monroe and I, shoulder to shoulder, looking into the belly of an eviscerated 45-foot right whale. Boy, did it stink. And then the TV cameras started to roll, and a person put a microphone in Carl's face, and Carl said, "You know, I'm pretty interested in science, but the real question is, does the interesting factor outweigh the ickiness factor?" And I've watched Carl for 2 years, and Carl is a real intellect, and he's always trying to find that balance. And at first, Carl came into the school, and he was so shy, and he hung out by himself, and then he found his social legs, and he jumped around that school like a pinball, from person to person, from relationship to relationship. Carl really strives to seek that balance. Carl, you've got the exterior of a lineman in a football game, but you've got the interior of a poet. And there's this tendency as people go on to high school to try to put on affected poses and maybe take whatever personality they think is going to get them farthest socially. Carl, I hope that you stay alive to that poet inside of you. I hope that you continue to find that balance. Carl, come on up. So we were driving in the van to Provincetown, and I had worked hard to set up this interview with 2 prominent whale scientists, and they were in the middle of their research season, and we really had to beg to get the time. They were going to take about an hour and a half out of their incredibly busy schedules. And I've got a van load full of students, and we're motoring down, and I'm figuring out how I'm going to organize this meeting and how every minute we're going to suck the marrow out of every minute. And then Chris Gregg is sitting next to me, and he says, "Mr. Niles, would you mind if I ran this meeting?" And here we are, my professional reputation's at stake in the science community, and I said, "Sure, Chris." And Chris Gregg ran that meeting way better than I could have run that meeting. With a microphone in his hand, and with passion in his heart, and with intellect in his brain, Chris Gregg possesses a rare combination. Chris, come on up.
All three?
Every once in a while, a real rare thing would happen in homeroom, a combination of events. First of all, Andrew Baker would be on time. Secondly, we'd get through the agenda in the homeroom meeting in that little 15 or 20 minutes that we had. And thirdly, after we reached the end of our agenda, the whole scene would not, for some reason, evolve into a big social discussion. And there would be actually some quiet. And it would be up to me to fill that quiet. And a couple of times during the year I would just ask, "So Andrew, what have you been up to lately?" You wouldn't know unless you asked. And Andrew would not volunteer the information, but Andrew would be glad to speak up if asked. Andrew would say something like, "Well, I went down to Philadelphia and won $4,000 in a chess tournament." He'd say, "Well, I just won the state chess championship. I flew to Moscow and won the world chess championship."